In case you missed it last night, big news after the Clippers-Warriors game. Steph Curry and the Warriors hosting the Clippers in their home opener. Third quarter, Curry, he tips the rebound, tracks it down, and gets the finish. He had 18 points for Golden State. Now later in the quarter, watch this. Curry, he tries to make a cut, but he would turn his left ankle. Oh, that looks like it hurts. He's hopping. He hobbles to the bench. He would sit the rest of the third, stretching his ankle. But in the fourth quarter, he would check back in. He goes to set a screen, but he'd tweak his left ankle again. Curry would immediately exit the locker room and not return. Now let's go to the fourth quarter. The Clippers up by 3. James Harden finds Zubats, who slams it home. The Clippers would get the road win, 112-104. Chiney Ogwumike in for Malika Andrews, and I'm now joined by ESPN NBA senior insider Shams Charania. Now, Shams, what more can you tell us about Steph's injury?
I'm told Stephen Curry had an MRI this morning in the Bay Area, and Warriors officials do not believe that it's a serious sprain for Steph Curry, but obviously he's had plenty of ankle sprains, especially in the early part of his career. They don't have a firm sense on a timetable as of yet. But the feel going into today was evaluate Stephen Curry day to day, the swelling, the mobility, and how that reacts to treatment and other rehab obligations that he's going to have now today and into the next day. The anticipation is, could he miss a game or two? Potentially. They have a back-to-back against New Orleans on Tuesday and Wednesday in San Francisco. And then after that, they go on a 5-game road trip from November 2nd to November 10. And in the interim, if he does miss time, Brandon Podziemski is a player that they would, of course, slide into that point guard spot. But as of right now, the goal is to get Stephen Curry back on the floor, and the hope is that it's nothing serious on that ankle sprain.
Shams, you hear Steph Curry and you hear ankle and you get nervous, but nonetheless, it doesn't seem too bad. The Warriors are off to a really good start, 2-1, so this is truly a bummer. Thank you so much for the update. We appreciate you joining us. Let's now welcome in the rest of our squad, senior NBA writer for Anscape, Mark Spears, my Stanford sister from another mister, Ramona Shelburne, writer, and of course our front office insider, Bobby Marks. Now, Mark, you were in San Francisco last night. What were the Warriors saying?
Well, there definitely was some concern. There was some talk that they expect him to miss at least a week in terms of Stephen Curry. But I talked to Steve Kerr. I'm like, how do you make up for his loss? And he said initially by committee, and he feels like they had more talent than they've had in recent years to fill that void of scoring. There's a lot of depth on this team. But the main guy he pushed was Andrew Wiggins. They need Andrew Wiggins to be big. He had 29 last night. He's averaging 20 points a game, just about. So expect Drew to get a lot of the touches, and they need Kuminga to step up too. He's only averaging 8 points.
What's hard is they were off to a great start. They had an undefeated preseason, 6-0 in the preseason, 2-0 to start, and then they have this happen. And I know with the Warriors, they felt like the last couple of years they were digging out of a hole. Right? They got up to such poor starts. They were just trying to make the play in, and so to have this injury now is disappointing. Although they don't believe it to be that bad. Yeah. I think last night was really the Clippers play really good defense. Like we don't want to talk about the Clippers because they lost Paul George, but they almost beat Phoenix opening night. They go in and beat Denver on the road. Then they play a back-to-back in Golden State. Forced 21 turnovers. That defense is real.
Well, I think the beauty with this roster right now is their depth. They've got roster flexibility with Buddy Hield and Moses Moody and Kyle Anderson and DeAnthony Melton. But Shams made an interesting point as far as how long will Curry be out. Keep an eye on that 5-game road trip that's coming up here. They've got Boston, Cleveland, Oklahoma City, Houston, all in that realm of those 5 games. And certainly you've got New Orleans on Tuesday and Wednesday, which is not going to be easy games either here. But as we learned last year, you go 500 in the Western Conference, you can go from the 3 seed all back to the play-in.
Yeah, and it's never fun coming back, returning to your team on the road, but that might be necessary for Steph Curry. But as Ramona said, there was another team in that game. We have to give credit to James Harden and the Clippers because they're essentially just a layup away from being 3-0, so that's a good start for them as well.
Shams Charania reports Steph Curry faces his toughest season yet as the Golden State Warriors stand on the edge of a crisis. With Klay Thompson gone, Coach Steve Kerr's unpredictable rotations, and Jonathan Kuminga's unresolved contract adding to the tension, the Warriors are at a breaking point. Can Curry's resolve pull them through, or are we watching the unraveling of a dynasty? This is no ordinary season, this is a fight for survival. Let's start with the unwavering fight Curry is putting up to keep the Warriors competitive in an unforgiving NBA landscape. Steph Curry, now in his 16th NBA season, stands as a beacon of dedication, but the weight on his shoulders has never been heavier. Entering this season with an impressive average of 26.4 points per game, Curry is defying the usual limitations of age, outpacing players half a decade younger with his 45% shooting efficiency. But beyond the points, it's Curry's spirit that drives this team. Known for his league-topping three-point accuracy at over 40%, he has become synonymous with resilience, adapting his game as the Warriors' dynamics shift around him. What we're seeing from Curry this season isn't just about hitting threes or tallying stats, it's about survival. Curry is tasked with doing the impossible, maintaining the Warriors standing without his longtime partner in crime, Klay Thompson, and compensating for the gaps in the team's offense. For every step Curry takes, there's a silent question that hangs over the team. Can he keep this pace without breaking? And more importantly, is this the last stand of one of the greatest shooters the NBA has ever known? As Shams Charania has hinted, whispers of frustration about Klay Thompson's departure continue to echo through the Warriors' locker room. Rumors about tension between Curry and Thompson have sent shockwaves through the Warriors fan base. For years, these two were inseparable, forming the iconic Splash Brothers duo that became the heart of Golden State's championship legacy. But with Thompson now donning a Mavericks jersey, rumors have surfaced that Curry was quietly critical of Klay's performance leading up to his departure. In his final seasons with the Warriors, Thompson's stats saw a notable decline from averaging over 20 points per game at his peak to struggling around 16 points, a drop that fueled speculation of dissatisfaction. Yet these are not just two teammates parting ways, they were pillars of a dynasty. Thompson's move to Dallas not only shocked fans, but also left a void that's proving difficult to fill. Curry is now left to shoulder both the offense and defense without a second shooter who can command defensive attention. How does Curry truly feel about Thompson's departure? And more crucially, can he adjust to this void left by his longtime ally? As Curry presses on without Thompson, the responsibility shifts to Coach Kerr, who is racing against time to find a rotation that works. Steve Kerr faces one of the toughest challenges of his career as the Warriors head coach. Without Thompson, Kerr is exploring every possible player combination to maintain the team's rhythm and energy on the court. This season, Kerr has leaned heavily on new recruit Buddy Hield, whose three-point shooting percentage of 48.7% in preseason raised hopes that he might fill the void left by Thompson. Hield, known for his catch-and-shoot ability, has already made his mark, and Kerr is counting on him to be the offensive anchor when Curry is off the court. The rotation doesn't end there. Kerr has also brought in Moses Moody, whose recent three-year, $39 million extension signals the Warriors' commitment to young talent. But even with depth on the bench, Kerr's lineup decisions are a double-edged sword. Too much rotation risks disrupting team chemistry, but without it, the Warriors risk overworking Curry. It's a delicate balance that Kerr must strike, as every decision could be the difference between playoffs and failure. For now, Kerr's rotation strategy is a high-stakes experiment, one that will either stabilize the team or pull it apart. As Shams Charania points out, the unresolved contract with Kuminga remains a looming threat that could shift the team's future. Jonathan Kuminga's presence on the Warriors roster has become a focal point of controversy. Once seen as the potential heir to Golden State's dynasty, Kuminga now faces a make-or-break moment in his career. With a mere 8 points per game average and shooting a worrying 33.3% from the field, Kuminga has yet to live up to the expectations of a starter. Warriors management is hesitant to lock him into a long-term deal, casting doubt on his future with the team. But Kuminga's potential hasn't gone unnoticed in the league, with the Philadelphia 76ers eyeing him as a possible building block for their own lineup. Kuminga's youth, athleticism, and raw talent are undeniable, and for a team like Philadelphia hungry for fresh energy, he represents both immediate potential and future success. For the Warriors, however, his departure would be a significant blow. Losing a player with Kuminga's promise, especially when paired with the absence of Thompson, could shift the Warriors' plans from contender to rebuild. It's a high-stakes situation where every game matters, and both Kuminga's future and the Warriors' fate hang in the balance. Shams Charania underscores this pivotal moment as the Warriors navigate these turbulent waters. All eyes are on Steph Curry, who must now answer the ultimate question: can he carry the Warriors alone Or will this season mark the end of Golden State's reign? This season is shaping up to be a defining moment for the Golden State Warriors. With Steph Curry fighting through his 16th NBA season, Klay Thompson's absence leaving an irreplaceable gap, Steve Kerr's high-stakes rotation strategy, and Jonathan Kuminga's unresolved future, every game is a testament to the team's resilience. Curry has held this team together through injuries, losses, and near misses, but as the challenges stack up, even he is left wondering, can this team overcome the odds? Or are we witnessing the unraveling of a dynasty that once seemed unbreakable? This isn't just a season, it's a battle for survival, a moment where legends are either forged or fall apart. Will Curry's tenacity be enough to pull his team back from the brink? Or is this the beginning of a new chapter in the Warriors story, one without the glory they've fought so hard to build?